You see, she's like this constantly.
Constantemente.
It might ease up a bit when she's asleep, and there are moments during the day when it's not as extreme, but these tremors are pretty much constant. Also, some new wounds have appeared. There's a wound here, and it's quite a large one. There's another one on her rear, in this area, which is one of the parts that sticks out most when she's lying down. That one's smaller, I'm not as worried about it. But this one is going to get worse. And then we have the wound here. It looks better on the inside overall, but it's still roughly this size.
Right, guys. We can't carry on like this. Sadly, she's developed more pressure sores, one here and another one there. The hypothermia isn't resolving, and the tremors aren't improving.
No están mejorando.
This has gotten out of control and she's slipping away.
Y nos va a dejar.
I'm staying with her.
Me quedo con ella, ¿vale? Venga.
Nancy has left us. We rescued her in 2015, 9 years ago now. A little dog was found crawling through the trash of a landfill, broken, invisible to the world. The image we usually associate with the Doberman is that of a muscular, solid, alert animal. But what I saw that day was the exact opposite. A skeletal figure lying on the ground with no muscle mass, no strength, barely able to lift her head. And yet, her eyes were wide awake. The first time I saw her was in the reception area of the clinic where she had been taken. The moment I looked at her, I knew Nancy was no ordinary dog. There was something in her gaze, a quiet defiance that told me she was ready to fight. We ran tests. At first, we considered several possibilities: viruses, bacterial infections, trauma. Eventually, we discovered she had a spinal malformation, a lesion that had threatened to become an irreversible spinal cord compression. Then came the choice. We had two options: attempt a risky, complex surgery or give in to the idea that Nancy will never be a normal Doberman, as the standard demands. But that's not what we do here. We don't rescue standards, we rescue lives. Nancy didn't need to be perfect. She just needed a chance, and she asked us for it. With that thin little face, those big bright eyes, she told us she wanted to live. And so we said yes. The surgery was long and tense. It was performed by the great Sergio Rodenas, our neurologist, now sadly gone. One of the finest professionals I've ever known. He knew what was at stake. If anything went wrong, Nancy might never walk again. But she came out of the operation room alive. We didn't yet know how well she'd recover, but she was alive. The following days were brutal. Recovery from a spinal surgery is hell. Wound care, meds, rehab routines, absorbent pads, short walks, constant cleaning. But Nancy had a full team behind her, and among them, Nello, our exotic specialist who quickly grew attached to her. There is a beautiful photo of Nello helping her to run again. Nancy, who had been thrown away like garbage, was running again, feeling the wind, feeling alive. After a couple of weeks in the hospital, Nancy was transferred to Betzia in Madrid, where she began an intense rehabilitation program. Exercises, swimming, climbing obstacles, playing with balls, everything to rebuild her neuromuscular memory so she could walk again. And it worked. There are wonderful videos of her swimming, playing, making slow and steady progress. When she returned to Valencia, we knew the road ahead was still long, but the hardest part was behind her. From that moment on, Nancy became the queen of the White House. She was one of our first long-term residents. She met every dog that passed through those doors. Some were adopted, others, like Klaus or Samson, passed away before they had the chance. But Nancy found her home with us. For years, she was a constant presence. She walked fast, she stumbled, she got up again, she jumped, she played, she threw herself into the water without hesitation. At first, we had to get her a life jacket. She sank like a stone, but nothing ever stopped her. As time went on, her mobility deteriorated. Her spine twisted further, and walking became harder. We tried giving her a wheelchair, but she refused it. Nancy wanted to move her way. even if it meant stumbling, and she did stumble until the very end. The last few weeks weren't easy. What began as a simple surgery to remove an infected mammary gland turned into a fight against a multi-drug-resistant bacteria that slowly turned into a growing wound. We tried everything to stop it. We used the most aggressive treatments, boosted her immune system, and for a moment, we believed we had won.
Tranquila, tranquila. Tranquila. Ya, Peque. Ya. Estoy aquí.
Tell me, Isidore, how's Nancy doing?
Her quality of life is very low.
We are left with her memory, with that first image which became a symbol of everything it means to fight with no one believes in you. Nancy was loved, she was happy, and she was free. And above all, she was brave. Nancy taught us that you must never give up, that life is worth living even when it's broken, that strength isn't always measured in muscle but in will. Today, Casa Grande is silent, and even though her bark is no longer heard, her story will echo through every corner for a long time to come. Nancy died in Isidore's clinic, under white light, surrounded by hands that cared for her until the end. But her life was extraordinary. Rest in peace, Nancy. You were far more than a rescue. You were a life lesson. And you will always be part of us.
Aquí, conmigo.
Nancy. Es que es una caricatura, tía. Ahora está intentando rodar. ¿Por qué intenta rodar? ¿Por qué intenta rodar?
¿Cómo estás? ¿Sin vergüenza al máximo?